So when I ate my first piece of steak, was I afraid? That's the big question most people always usually ask me from going from plant-based to carnivore. They're like, oh, when you first ate meat, did you feel guilty? And I know this sounds weird to say and almost like a lack of empathy, which I can understand why people think so, but I did not feel guilty whatsoever when I ate my first steak in a long time. And I'll say why. When I started doing plant-based, I did it for my health issues. I had high cholesterol. I had acne on my chest. I had high cholesterol. I already said that. And I didn't feel good and I wanted to change and I knew it had to do with diet. I knew that for a long time. But anyway, I did the plant-based diet for those reasons. I did it for health reasons. And I did not do it at all for the animals. I was with someone at the time who was plant-based. And, one of the reasons why I went plant-based was for him as well. But he did it for the animals. He didn't really care about health, believe it or not. But I did. I cared about only health for the diet. That's why I did the diet. And so when I didn't get the health benefits that I thought I would get in the long run, I stopped doing it and ate my first steak. And when I ate my first steak, it was, I think, 2 years ago. Went to Whole Foods, bought a nice ribeye steak, brought it home. Didn't even have butter or anything to cook with it. Put it in the oven and let it cook until it wasn't red anymore, and brought it onto my plate and got a knife and a fork and just started munching on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was like seeing my best friend that I didn't see for a long time. I felt really good. I felt very satiated. And when I ate the fatty parts of the steak, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what have I been doing all my life? It was like an instant positive reaction that my brain was like, you need to eat this. Like, this is what we've been looking for. And I was like, okay. So I ate it. And within 20 minutes, I was so energized. My head was clear. There was no foggy brain anymore. I felt like my stomach was flatter. And I was struggling for years, guys, with like a bloated stomach. So that's how it felt like eating my steak, my first steak in a long, long time. It's been when I ate my steak, it was when I was my 8th year being a vegan. So 8 years I didn't eat steak, didn't eat any kind of meat. So that was a long time. And yeah, I'm never going back, guys. But because I come from a Christian background, I do believe God allows us to eat meat, especially because we do live in a fallen world where good and bad happens all the time, every second of the day. And I do think in the Garden of Eden, there was one way to be on a diet, which was a plant-based diet. I do believe like Adam and Eve were plant-based, and that wasn't even a term that they used in the Bible. But if you read it carefully, they were only eating, nuts and fruits and probably vegetables, and the soil was different back then, and everything was basically perfect and at its prime, so there was no need to eat meat. But since the fall of man and since the curse God placed on the ground, and because the soil is not nutritious anymore, the plants don't grow as beautifully as it once did, and it doesn't have enough nutrients, now it does have a lot of anti-nutrients in vegetables and oxalates in nuts, which I believe did not happen with the first humans that lived in the garden. Anyway, I'm going off topic. I'll make that into a separate video. But what I'm saying is, guys, is that, when I became plant-based, it was never for moral reasons. It was just to be healthy because it was the trend. It's what people were talking about, that quote unquote, it helped everyone's health issues. And I wanted to give it a go, and I did for a good long run for 8 years. And then I ate my first steak and it was amazing, and now I am never going back. And so, yeah, guys, I hope this was enlightening. If you enjoyed the story, I will give more stories about my plant-based years in the next videos. Have an amazing day. Bye for now. And with that being said, you guys, if you are struggling with pain, overall discomfort, you have a bad memory loss, you have a foggy brain, you can't think efficiently, right? When you talk to people, you can't conversate well either. you feel tired all the time, and most of all, you have a bloated stomach, then you're gonna have to watch my video down below that I created just for you about the 7 mistakes that you are making to not heal your gut. Okay? Have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.